Mr. Biwou, aka American Dollar, a simple charlatan. We find ourselves in that season when liars, tricksters, and storytellers parade around to deceive the people. Everything is on the table, from the most extravagant lies to the buying and manipulating of consciences. And the bigger the lie, the easier it seems to swallow for these charlatans. They promise unattainable and often absurd things. But as the saying goes, a great liar comes from afar. Mr. Biwou, aka American Dollar, 63 years old, who has spent 90% of his life outside Côte d'Ivoire and was dismissed from Credit Suisse, has rushed to Abidjan and is now roaming the streets proclaiming that Ivorians cannot live without him, that he alone is educated, and that he alone deserves to become the president of Côte d'Ivoire, the only position worthy of him. Why? Because he claims to have blue blood, the blood of Houphouët-Boigny, whose legacy and values he neither represents nor embodies. A liar and an impostor. During his melodramatic media appearances, if he isn't boasting about having a letter from Barack Obama on his bedside table, he declares that he wants to be president simply because he's well known. Utterly ridiculous. Foolish and simplistic, isn't it? I'm not trying to be president to be famous. I am known. I want to put my notoriety at the service of Côte d'Ivoire. Those who come to my office, I show them a little note that Barack Obama wrote to me by hand when I was appointed director of Credit Suisse. And he said this: "Congratulations, I'm sure you'll do an excellent job, and I hope we can continue to work together on development issues." So if you've had a job on this earth where the President of the United States took the time to send you a handwritten note, that's not bad. Now he's promising to turn every Ivorian into a billionaire in US dollars. Fine. But to be taken seriously, he should first tell us how many Ivorians he has already made millionaires in CFA francs during his 63 years on this earth. Better yet, after 63 years of life, how many houses, or even simple huts, has he built in Côte d'Ivoire? That could have provided jobs for Ivorians in the construction chain, from architects to masons to cement mixers, enabling them to benefit from his so-called infinite financial bounty to meet their daily needs. And since charity begins at home, why hasn't he already made his sister, Yamoso Tiham, a billionaire to set the example of a cobbler well shod? Honestly, Mr. Biwou alias American Dollar, is full of nonsense. And now, the comedy begins. The economy and equity, the third part. That is to say, a prosperous Côte d'Ivoire, but also an equitable with the private sector as the engine of growth. I have been working for 38 years and have spent 33 of those 38 years in the private sector. So the PPA-CI chose as president, a man who was a business manager and an entrepreneur. I have said it to some, and I will repeat it here, I am determined to ensure that many Ivorians get rich. I even hope to get some of them to be dollar billionaires. I even hope to get some of them to be dollar billionaires. I can still add a nuance to this. It will be entrepreneurs and not billionaire civil servants. Listening to Mr. Biwou alias American Dollar, feels like watching a bad actor in a neighborhood theater. This man, with his self-proclaimed savior complex, struts around as if he were a misunderstood genius holding the magic key to turn dreams into reality. Yet the only thing he successfully transforms is general hilarity. For instance, when he talks about his so-called letter from Barack Obama, people don't know whether to cry or burst out laughing. A letter on his bedside table from Obama? Why, then, didn't Obama invite him to Donald Trump's inauguration? After all, every major figure in global business was there. Mr. Biwou, aka American Dollar, is underestimating the people. Ivorians today are seasoned, a people disillusioned by state lies and fanciful promises. We haven't even finished assessing the reigns of billions promised by Alassane Ouattara, nor the famous 1 billion francs per day for youth, when another flatterer appears with even more absurd promises, this time in US dollars. Does Mr. Biwou alias American Dollar not realize that Alassane Ouattara repeated the word billions so often that Ivorians now cringe in frustration at the mere mention of it? I understand that he aspires to imitate Alassane Ouattara, but to replicate his nonsense so clumsily makes him a tasteless plagiarist. He seems to believe that upon his return to Côte d'Ivoire, nothing has changed since he left in 1999. Truly, Côte d'Ivoire has become a land where any peddler of illusions can come and pretend to sell sand in the desert. In any case, in this competition of lies and illusory promises, Mr. Biwou has shifted the conversation to dollars. But all of this is just Douhi. Nonsense. Chris Yapi does not lie. Find Chris Yapi on his 2 YouTube channels, his Rumble channel, his TikTok, X, Instagram, VK and Threads accounts.